Have you ever wondered what actually happens when absolute greatness is born into the exact wrong environment? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating allegory called The Skybound Chicken, a legend of hidden potential. And honestly, it's a completely powerful look at human potential, the belief systems we kind of just absorb, and those invisible limits we put on ourselves. Just imagine for a second a fierce lion growing up among a flock of sheep. Or, a massive whale fully believing it's just another tiny fish in the ocean. Sounds completely impossible, right? No way that happens. Yet, every single day, people with absolutely incredible, world-changing potential live completely ordinary lives. And it's not because they lack ability. It's not a lack of talent. It's simply because they accepted the limits placed upon them. So this right here, this is the story of an eagle who thought he was a chicken. Okay, so our story begins way, way up high above these rugged mountains. Picture a mother eagle just soaring effortlessly through the sky. But suddenly, the weather turns. We're talking a violent storm. The wind howls, dark clouds roll in, and a massive gust literally shakes the mountain. The nest is trembling in the freezing cold. And before the mother can even react, one tiny egg rolls toward the edge and slips. It just falls, plummeting down past sheer, jagged cliffs, tumbling endlessly past the tree line, totally at the mercy of the elements. But, amazingly, this fall doesn't end in tragedy. Instead, the egg makes this absolute miracle of a landing. It drops gently, like a feather, into a pile of soft, forgiving hay right next to an old farmhouse. I mean, against all odds, the shell is completely intact, not a single crack. It just sits there, a tiny, fragile vessel holding immense, skybound potential, just hidden away in this quiet little farmyard, waiting for the morning. So the very next morning, this kind old farmer is walking the yard and discovers the egg. He looks around, no nest, no mother bird, literally no clue where this giant egg came from. He feels terrible for it, smiles with pity, and murmurs, "Poor little thing." Then he carefully places it underneath one of his brooding hens, whispering, "She'll take care of you." It's a beautiful, super compassionate gesture, right? But here's the profound tragedy of the whole thing. Sometimes our deepest limitations are actually placed on us by people who genuinely think they're helping. With that one well-intentioned act, the eaglet's fate is sealed. He's not going to be raised as the king of the sky, he's going to be raised as a creature of the dirt. A few days go by, the egg finally cracks, and this tiny eaglet steps out. The farmer names him Aiden. Now, physically, Aiden looks fundamentally different from the little yellow chicks running around. His beak is way larger, heavily curved. His legs are thick and strong, built for grasping, not just pecking around. And his eyes, they're sharp, designed by nature to see for miles. His instincts are just off, leaving him constantly confused. But here's the crazy part, the ultimate dramatic irony. Aiden doesn't know any of this. Actually, scratch that. It's more like he literally can't comprehend it. To him, these chickens aren't a different species. They're just his family. From day one, Aiden is absolutely desperate to belong. He copies everything. I mean, everything. When the chickens scratch the hard dirt, he awkwardly scratches the dirt. When they hunt for worms, he's right there pecking with them, totally ignoring his own natural appetite. I mean, think about it. Have you ever tried to shrink your own talents just so you wouldn't stand out? That's exactly what Aiden is doing. But eventually, biology takes over. See, chickens can only jump a couple of pitiful feet off the ground. When Aiden tries to just gently flap his growing wings to match them, whoosh! He accidentally leaps way, way higher into the air, hovering for seconds longer than anyone else. Now you'd think they'd be amazed, right? No way. Instead of awe, this strength just brings instant ridicule. The flock completely turns on him. They laugh, point their little beaks, and squawk, "You're strange. Why can't you just be normal?" Think about the emotional weight of that on a young kid, or, well, a young bird, just trying to fit in. He feels this burning shame of being too much. So utterly embarrassed by his own natural strength, Aiden makes a heartbreaking choice. He stops trying. He forces himself to stay glued to the ground, deliberately suppressing his immense power. He clips his own metaphorical wings, just to be accepted. As the years pass, this just gets harder. The gap between who Aiden actually is and who he thinks he is widens dramatically. Physically, he grows into a magnificent, massive creature. Picture the enormous wingspan of an adult eagle cramped inside a dusty little chicken coop. His wings are huge, his claws are intensely powerful, his eyesight is incredible. But internally, the chickens are always whispering behind his back. He's so awkward. He's too big. Something is definitely wrong with him. And, if you're told you're broken enough times, eventually you stop trying to fix it. You just accept it. Slowly, this majestic eagle starts believing the chickens. He internalizes it all, thinking, maybe I really am broken. So what does he do? He tries even harder to conform. It's actually painful to look at the deliberate steps he takes to fit in. Step 1. He literally bends his majestic neck lower to match their height, straining his posture every single day. Step 2. He folds those massive, powerful wings incredibly tight against his sides, just trying so desperately to look smaller. And step 3. This is the real gut punch. He completely stops dreaming about the sky. He forces his eyes to stay locked on the dirt, actively shrinking himself to make the flock comfortable. And honestly, we see this tragic compromise in the human world all the time. But nature has this funny way of calling out to us. Every single afternoon, a magnificent shadow sweeps over the farm. Instantly, the chickens panic. They cluck frantically, running for the coop. But Aiden? Aiden doesn't run. He looks up. Way above the clouds, there's a majestic eagle gliding effortlessly, sunlight reflecting beautifully off its wings. Totally fearless, totally free. Aiden just watches in absolute silence, his heart pounding in his chest. He feels this intense, instinctual pull, a phantom urge in his own tucked-away wings. He doesn't understand it, but he absolutely cannot ignore it. Deep down in his DNA, he recognizes that creature. Filled with all this wonder, Aiden turns to an old hen and asks, "What kind of bird is that?" The hen glances up nervously and immediately looks away. "That's an eagle," she snaps. "The undisputed king of the sky. Don't waste your time looking up there. We're chickens. We belong on the ground." Wow. Those words, that absolute, crushing, limiting belief, it just settled so deep into Aiden's soul. It wasn't just a sentence. It was a prison made of words. From that moment on, whenever he felt the urge to look up, he'd force his eyes down to the dirt, telling himself, "That's not where I belong." But then, the routine finally shatters. One crisp autumn morning, while the flock is busy pecking at the dirt, an old eagle lands right on the nearby wooden fence. His feathers are silver with age, his eyes are incredibly calm, but packed with this piercing, ancient wisdom. And he doesn't even look at the chaotic chickens. He stares directly into Aiden's soul. For a long, tense moment, the old eagle says absolutely nothing. The silence is thick, it's heavy, and it is undeniably powerful. Finally, a slow, knowing smile spreads across the old eagle's face. He looks right past the awkward posture, right past the tightly folded wings. He sees the truth literally no one else could. And then he quietly asks, "Young one, why are you living like a chicken?" Aiden absolutely freezes. The chickens around him burst out laughing, squawking, "Ignore him, you're one of us." But the old eagle doesn't flinch. He just waits. That single question was about to change the entire trajectory of his life. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with that exact same question. Think about it. Where in your own life are you living like a chicken when you were born with the wings to fly?